What's going on, everybody? Jordan here from Night and Day Performance. Today's video is going to be about taking this dash. As you can see, I've already got it out a little bit. I was like, oh man, probably should record this. We're about to tear the dash out. For those who don't know how to remove a dash, right? So the dash and the chargers, right? It's relatively easy. So I start it right here. You can use like a pry tool, a flathead. If you use a flathead, be very, very careful. Make sure it's very small and thin. You can use the flathead and walk it across, or the pry tool, walk it all the way around, right? Pry, give it a nice little tug, and it'll literally pop right off. For example, one like this, right? I use a pry tool, but you can use something like this, and you can fit it in and pop. Walk it down, pop. Walk it down, pop, and you can go all the way around until the whole dash comes off. It's really not that hard. Now that the dash is out, now you should get the air vents out. In order to get the air vents out, there's gonna be tabs right here, and then it'll be kind of hard to see, but there should be two more on the inside, and the same thing for this one and this one. Once you get those off, then you will be able to get the dash itself out. So we're gonna go ahead and pop those off real quick so we can get the face off, so then we can get the cluster out, because we are going to be doing a swap on these gauges. So as you can see, this one comes with the black ones. We're going to swap them out with some from US Speedo. These are red gauges. So these are for 15 and plus chargers. So as you can see, they're pretty good quality. They don't look that bad. So if you would like to, swap out your gauges, get a different color of them, I would definitely go to them, check them out, and order some. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop these tabs off. So like I said, it's really not that hard. As soon as you pop them, it literally falls right out. Like, it's not that hard. Same thing for the ones on the inside, right? You can push on the face itself and it should pop right out. Not a big deal. Same thing with the other side. And once those are off, right, so let me go ahead and grab these out. The little silver piece that is on there, it will probably fall off. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out. You can put them back. It's not detrimental. I just wouldn't lose them. See, so as you can see, this one came out without a problem. So I know it's kind of dark in here, but then your whole face comes off. It is super, super easy to do. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the trunk. Among all the other things that are getting done to this car, whoa, we're gonna focus on just the gauges today. All right, I got a little more light in here now, a little bit easier. So the actual gauge cluster itself, right? So there's gonna be 4 bolts right here, right there, right back in there, and then another one right down over. If I can angle it right to the good light, it's down at the bottom. Either way, I think you can see it from here. It's like right there. So there's 4 bolts. Then it's gonna have a plug on the back end. Once you disconnect that back end, that plug, this cluster itself will come out. This is also how you go ahead and get ready to pull the screen out. So if you need to swap your screen out, if you're having any delamination issues, if you're having a cracked screen, it's just messing up, you're gonna go through the same procedure to get to this screen. So let's go ahead and get these 4 bolts out so we can start to swap over these gauge clusters. So the plug will be on the left hand side of the gauge. You should be able to fit your hand between there. I have relatively big hands and I can still fit my hands through there. But the clipboard is at the very top. It'll be a brown plug. It's only one plug on the entire cluster, so it's not hard to figure out what goes to what. Once you have that out, you're going to pull it just a wee bit, and it'll literally come right out. So just like this, you will have the cluster out and you can swap it. So like I said, there'll be this little plug and it sits right here, and my hands are relatively big and I'm able to fit my hand. If you angle the cluster with the left side of the cluster, so if you angle it up like that, just enough, you should be able to slide your hand through there, reach up to the very top to hit this little tab. There'll be a connection on the actual wire itself, and you can pop it right off, and then literally the whole thing will come right out. So and if need be, sometimes this can be a little difficult and it's in the way, but being that it's a lot more plate in it, now that there's no face on there, you can push it up and you can slide the whole cluster past it, and then after that the cluster's out. All right, so now the cluster's out of the car. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tabs, right? Without breaking them. So I would take like a small flathead or another pry tool and popping them off, so that way it gets the face off. So we're gonna do that right now.
She gets that, I
all right. Now these are out. So like I said, you really just need to pry on those little white clips or the black clips, and work your way around. That's probably the best way to do it. As you can see, I struggled a little bit, so I just put the flathead down and just use my hands. But now that those are there, so it's saying mark the factory needle set with a marker on the OEM gauge face as shown in the picture, right? So pretty much where it's sitting at naturally, that's where you want to mark at. So that way you know whenever you go ahead and put the new gauges in, you know where to line it up at. So we're gonna mark this one right there. I'm gonna mark this one right there. That's relatively straight. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but I marked them. I marked it in black, which I understand it's a black cluster, so that didn't really make the most sense, but I can see it. So then it says once the needles are marked, right? Yeah, once the needles are marked, go ahead and rotate the speedo and tack counterclockwise, and then pull straight up on the needle to remove it from this stepper motor. So rotate it. Oh, okay. You just rotate it and it pops up. Let's see. Obviously try not to break it. Nope, that one came right off. Okay, there we go. So the place adhesives where X's are, do not cover icons. Remove the OEM gauge face from the cluster and replace it with the new US Speedo custom gauge face. Okay. So we're going to remove the RPM one first. Yeah, them things is on there, huh? Them things is on there. So it's adhesives. We really gentle with this one because it is red. Right, so we're gonna pull that off. RPM. We're gonna line this back up with the little notch that's already there. Make sure that's straight and it's over the hole correctly. Like so. Then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side.
I don't know, they probably will.
Alright, so this was the needle I used for the RPM. I'm going to put that back. Okay, so from the instructions, right, it tells you to mark the gauges where the original, like where the needle was originally, right, which I already did on both gauges. Can't really see that well because I marked them black. But anyways, so that worked when putting the needles back for the RPM. For the mile per hour, it didn't really work the same way, and I think that's just because the gauges is slightly different. But essentially, I mean, it's kind of like self-explanatory. You don't want to put the gauge or the needles too far, obviously past 0, because when it's sitting, it's just sitting. And we all know when the car isn't going anywhere, it needs to be held off at 0. So what I did, as you can see right here, I went ahead and did the RPM one, like right below 0. You feel me? Just because when you move them, they click. So you can move them more, but you can't go forward. You can only go backwards. So that's where it's gonna sit at whenever it's off, right? And then the same for mile per hour. We can go forward, and it stops dead right there. So I feel like that's a good spot. Now before you put this face back on, you can go ahead and we're gonna go back to the car. We're going to put the car in accessory mode, make sure the gauges move properly. Obviously the faces will work. Everything should line up and work the same. It doesn't really change anything. But I wanna make sure the gauges work before I put the face back on it, just because it is a pain to take the faces off, this piece. It is a little difficult to get this off. But yeah, you want to make sure that the gauges work, everything works. Wipe off the main screen because the screen's already there. It's open. You can see it. You might as well wipe it all down, get it nice and clean. Probably use like an alcohol pad or like a very, very soft microfiber without fluid on it. If it's not alcohol, I wouldn't use it. Just me personally. Just because you don't know what other chemicals it might affect the screen. Alcohol evaporates. It's literally a great cleaning agent. And like I said, I kind of do it. I'm going to do it with a microfiber, just to get it clean. Just because, you know, you don't want to have anything there that shouldn't be there. So we're going to go to the car real quick. I'm going to hook it up, hook up the gauges. Like I said, with that one brown plug, you're going to click it, and we're going to put the car in accessory mode. Accessory mode should engage the gauges, and you'll be like, oh, okay, cool, they're engaged, they're going, doing what they're supposed to do, and they're going to go back down. Now, the original mile per hour, right? Big difference. The original mile per hour only hit 180. These hit 200. These still hit 700, or 7,000, sorry, but the new RPM mile per hour gauges only hit 200. The old ones hit 180. So that is their difference there, which did change the adjustment of where the needle needs to be. But you know, like I said, once it's at a stopping point, and you can always go, you can go counterclockwise. You cannot go clockwise. You have to go counterclockwise to position it where you want to be. And that's what I did. So let's go ahead and get out there. Oh, let's see if we even have enough power. Oh boy, we got power. Okay, all right, we got power. All right. Okay. So we're gonna place this inside. Up there. We want to hook it up. All right, now that is in. Okay, so we're gonna see if this works. Alright, well that clearly didn't do what it was supposed to do. Mile per hour did. Mile per hour is good. Again, did not do it. So we're going to take that off, figure out why that didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Several days later. Alright, so for those of you tuning in, you're probably wondering what happened to the video, what happened to the gauge cluster from US Speedo, and as you see here, it is installed, it is good, it is working now. Turned out that there was an issue with one of the motors, and it's very common according to US Speedo that when you take the physical cluster apart and you take the needles off, when you rotate them backwards like you're supposed to do to pop them off, sometimes the car actually just has an issue where the motor fails on those. It's very common. We gave US Speedo a call, asked them what's the process. They told us, hey, you pay for shipping, ship it to us, pay for shipping back to you, we'll fix it, no problem. We have tons of motors here, this happens all the time. So make sure you give US Speedo a shout if you're looking for any work to get done. Make sure you let them know we sent you. And then, hey, if you got any other questions, let us know. Until next time, Matt from 9 Day Performance, signing off. Appreciate US Speedo for all the help. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments.